Playing against Fnatic will mean to me that I really have to win. If I lose against them, then it will be really embarrassing.
I don't think I think about it as much as like the guy who was in Fnatic before. I guess he's just another mid laner.
Fnatic, it took them 5 games to do it, but they are going
down. And Fnatic, as they take down this next H2K, take down the former kings of Europe.
Historically, it doesn't really matter. Playoffs are the games that matter because you don't get a second chance.
H2K, almost no snags on this one. They come back from IEM and they make a hell of a statement, dismantling, dismembering, and destroying this Fnatic team.
Tower in their sights, Nexus in their sights, playoffs for the 9th time in a row. Fnatic make their home at the top of the EU LCS.
I think he has something to prove, and I think he will show up big time against them.
Berlin, where 2 iconic teams in the EU LCS history meet in a fight for the last spot in the semi-finals. H2K and Fnatic, they have one series to earn a spot in Hamburg and the glory that comes with it. And probably realizes that he is giving his top laner Odewamne a bit of a pep talk, as is Finley to Broxa, and so as just checking that everything is in order for this super important match. A very extraordinary hand warm-up for Jesses as well. It all has to be in place, and Reckless, the man we are watching for Fnatic. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm EpicSkillshot supporter, and joining me on the analyst desk, we have a full house. It's Mitch Kreppel Voorspools, as well as our special guests, Fabian Exile Schubert and Fabian Sheepy Marlans from the Unicorns of Love. So to make it simpler, I'm just going to say Sheepy and Exile and not the double Fabians. But thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome. We're always nice to be here.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great day. We have a fantastic quarterfinal in our first playoff series of the split. In our first quarterfinal yesterday, Misfits, they pulled off a dramatic reverse sweep against Splice to advance to the semifinals and secure a seat in Hamburg. Exile, these will be your opponents, of course, next week in your semifinal versus them, the Misfits. What did you think of the match yesterday?
I think that Misfits right now is definitely a really strong team. We saw it in the last 3 games yesterday. Like once they get the lead, they are really able to snowball it and transition it into the mid game. So yeah, we're gonna prepare well and then give them a good fight.
Sheepy, are you scared of Power's revenge?
The Power's revenge? It would be Unicorn's revenge to Power after he left us. So I'm looking forward to the match, honestly. I think that, especially with Power, we have like a really nice and friendly relationship, and we also already look forward to facing him, already greeted on Twitter. Will be exciting series for sure. I agree with Exile here.
Yeah, it will be super exciting. The revenge of evil, yes or no, we'll see. Well, after Misfits win, the semi-final bracket is filling up nicely with 1 team still to be decided, and the winner of H2K versus Fnatic will play G2 in the semi-finals. And Sheepy, you were talking a bit earlier about the fact that you think that it's actually a very competitive bracket overall, and every team could take games of every team.
Yeah, I think that what Rocket against G2 showed us is that, I mean, every team can beat every team right now, and even like the top teams seemingly really strong can improve over a short period. And now with playoffs coming in, every team is just trying to improve so much. And I think that overall the teams we have right now in the playoffs is like one of the most competitive we've seen.
How hard is it to improve? Like, can you find enough scrims when the number of teams kind of get lower and lower, and you're looking at potential brackets and you never know who you're going to face? Did the Unicorns find enough scrims to continuously practice? Yeah,
we have scrims for every day. Honestly, since we go directly to semifinals and we're one of the 2 top teams, I think it's easier for us to find scrims. And also we don't have a schedule like so tightly against whatever team. So yeah, for us it was not that difficult, but it's really important right now to get those scrims in.
Definitely a super competitive bracket as well. And Fnatic, they qualified for the playoffs with a last-minute win against the Misfits, thanks in large part rather to Reckless. And Dracos is here to focus in on the key behind the team's success.
Thank you very much, Shox. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to dial in on one of the longest-standing organizations in the European LCS, five-time league champions Fnatic. Now, this year, Fnatic took a major shift in how they approach building a team. After 2 seasons of trying to incorporate players from around the world with some mixed results, they built an all-European roster filled with veteran talent as well as a promising rookie in Caps. Now, fans were eager to see what the team could do, and while they found some early success in the split, things quickly began to fall apart. Even after swapping out Amazing for Broxa, their performances still did not improve. But as the pressure mounted and playoffs became a question rather than a certainty, Fnatic rallied around their one constant, Reckless. Now, Martin Reckless Larsen is a top-tier AD carry, and Fnatic knows it. In-game, he receives more resources than any AD carry in the league, but is it worth it? Should Fnatic be pouring gold into a single player? Should they put so much pressure on one man? Quite simply, the answer is yes. Reckless boasts some of the most impressive individual stats of any player in Europe. He is first in AD carries when it comes to KDA and kill share. We'll get a chance to look at that in just a second. And second, in damage percentage and kill participation. When it comes to CS per minute, not only is he first in the AD carry position, he also leads the league. Keep in mind, these aren't stats we've cherry-picked. They're not from recent weeks or just from Fnatic's wins. They include every single game this spring. Even in the mid-split slump, Reckless made his mark. Now, if you haven't watched him in recent weeks, he is playing like a man possessed, and Fnatic is happy to play around him. And when we look towards his champion pool, one Yordle is the clear standout right now, Kennen. Some of you, of course, may be skeptical of our small ninja friend after yesterday's Splice vs. Misfits series, but I assure you, Reckless's Kennen is a different breed. Some beautiful Kennen engages throughout the series against Misfits, and G2 arguably secured them the uncertain playoff spot. With his confidence in big turnaround plays and high-risk situations that many may shy away from, he made it work just about every single time. However, even with all of this, questions remain. Will Fnatic rise to dominance after a series of lackluster splits? Will the team rally in a time of need? Have they equipped their plot armor? And most importantly, is today the day they take down H2K? Well, for those answers, I'll send it back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Drake. That was a fantastic breakdown of that bot lane powerhouse in Reckless. But of course, the question remains, with all that, with all those fantastic stats, how durable is the Fnatic that we're seeing now that builds around this one player with arguably only 1 or 2 strategies? How far do you see them going, Exile?
I think that Fnatic right now, like we see, they play a lot around the Shen pick and the Kennen pick. And if they get those picks, then they're a really strong powerhouse. But apart from this, I think H2K has a really good chance. Yeah,
Sheepy, you as a coach, obviously, when you see something like that, even with the record that Fnatic has put up and the performances in the last couple of weeks, it seems all too simple to ban them out.
I think that still Fnatic is like really reliant on those champions that are comfortable for them, and I think that in the pick and ban phase, Fnatic is a team you can really punish. They seem a little bit like parts not put well together. I think the parts individually are really strong. We see those amazing stats from Reckless, but translating into not the most successful spring. So yeah, honestly, I think that is something they need to work on the pick and ban and working together as a team. And since we have the playoff buff coming in now, maybe they fixed all of the issues there.
Oh, the epic Fnatic playoff buff. We didn't even mention it yet. We'll see if that happens because they are facing H2K, an H2K lineup who are unable to take first place in Group B because you guys got it. And, well, not slumping in the last couple of weeks, but obviously not their best performance in the last couple of weeks.
Not their best performance, but I think they had more slack to play with. We see the recurring issues. It's H2K overcommitting to bad fights and a little bit in the early game greed, especially on the side of Jankos, going too deep for some of the kills where he had already had some advantage. He wanted to push it more, too deep of a flash, and then it gets turned around. However, I think it's more manageable for H2K to fix these issues as they seem to have more team play incorporated and more kind of inter-player communication than, say, Fnatic have. So we need to see what happens when Fnatic get hit in pick and bans. I think it'll be a much larger deficit to overcome other than H2K kind of toning it down in the early game.
Yeah, taking a look at Jankos as a specific player, I also want to look at the mid lane with you. Exile, Caps versus Febiven. We obviously have the storyline of Febiven up against his ex-team, but how do you think these two are, and how big will this matchup influence the rest of the games?
I think that mid lane in general has like a lot of impact on the game, obviously. But I think in this matchup, I think Febiven has the edge. He brings a lot more experience to the table and also played a lot more best of 5s than Caps did. And also right now, I feel like Febiven has a better grasp of the meta. With picks like Syndra and LeBlanc especially, he like basically plays those picks more than Caps does.
Yeah, if I have the TLDR of what you guys have been saying, H2K obviously not too good in the last couple of weeks, but still a strong component. And Fnatic, maybe easily ban-outable. So I feel like all the predictions are going in the same direction. But
yeah, we always talk about like playoff buff for Fnatic, but that used to be a 2-week period where they could really dial in on a few issues. Right now, the last week of LCS was played just a week ago, and Fnatic still, they struggle through like grit and merit and just like these fantastic plays where they would suddenly get like 2 turrets in a side lane. You know, these odd macro moments where they would outplay. Reckless honestly overperforming on that cannon, taking more out of the pick than many people even think is possible. But I think if they get hit there and H2K doesn't give away the same macro mistakes that like Misfits did, then for me, I'm looking at a 3-0 or a 3-1 from H2K.
Okay, Exile?
I'm going to expect a 3-0 for H2K as well.
All right. So
I go for the 3-1. I think Fnatic can take 1 game and then H2K will see, you know, to fix everything in the pick and ban.
well, that is very clear from our panel here. Fnatic doesn't have much of a chance. We'll see if H2K can stop Fnatic's surge as we head over to our casters for Game 1.
Thank you very much, Sharks. Greetings, hello, League of Legends fans and viewers.